To a maiden speech, Katie White.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's an honour to make my maiden speech today, particularly on this critically important debate on the infected blood scandal. I'd ask the House that you would allow me a temporary shift in tone so I can celebrate the community that sent me here. Like many honourable members, the constituency I have the privilege to represent, Leeds North West, is a new seat with a long history. I'm sure most of you know where Leeds is, but I always describe it right at the heart of the UK. I'm deeply grateful to the thousands of voters who have put their trust in me, and as I said on election night, regardless of how you voted, I'm determined to represent and serve our community in this place. I would like to begin by paying tribute to my immediate predecessors, both who are still members of this House. Stuart Andrew, who has been gracious and friendly, and for his commitment to our community, especially at Guiseley, and to my honourable friend Alex Sobel and his fantastic team for their commitment to our community and to tackling climate change. I'd also like to pay tribute to those before, Greg Mulholland, Paul Truswell and the late Harold Best, who all have a continued presence in the constituency. Esteemed gentlemen who have all fought for our communities and whose shoulders I am honoured to stand. But I do say gentlemen for good reason, because I am proud to be the first woman ever to represent Leeds North West. The place where I was born and raised, as were my parents before me. Seeing more women in Parliament elected before than ever before matters. It matters for the women and girls across our communities. To Alice in Otley, to Navdeep in Adel and to Chloe in Horsforth. We've not had enough female MPs in my home city, but we're making up for lost time now. Leeds now boasts the first female Chancellor ever, so progress, friends, progress. Leeds North West has an incredible history. The stunning Norman church in Adel dates back to the 12th century and is where my parents were married, I was christened, and my grandfather lays to rest. Further west is home to Otley Shevin. Members here today may not have had the chance to visit Otley Shevin yet, but we wouldn't be here without it. The stone from the Shevin provided the foundations for this very Parliament rebuilt in the 1840s. Indeed, it shouldn't be a surprise that it's Yorkshire that keeps this house grounded. In Leeds North West, our feet are always planted firmly on this bedrock, but our eyes remain on the horizon, ready to embrace the future. Our constituency is a vibrant hub of entrepreneurship and creativity, a legacy that continues to thrive today. Take Abraham Moons in Guiseley, a fabric company established in 1837 that still supplies international fashion houses today. Then there's EMIS, which began in the 1980s in Horsforth and now flourishes in beautiful Rawdon as the leading provider of data support to the NHS. We're home to West Yorkshire's only airport, Leeds Bradford, and I was pleased to meet with Jet2 CEO Steve just this week to discuss how the aviation sector can innovate to decarbonise. And should you wish to stop for a bite to eat, look no further than the thriving bars and restaurants of vibrant Horsforth. It's a constituency bursting with joyful community fairs and fetes, from Guiseley Festival to Yeadon Carnival, from Rawdon Summer Gala to the Arthington and Bramhope shows. The final one comes complete with a human fruit machine. There is no stronger pride than the Yorkshire pride, and our community spirit is a great source of strength. However, like many places, people are feeling overwhelmed and concerned about their future and that of their children and grandchildren. Many of the people I've met on the doorstep also feel let down by politicians, let down by the institutions that they have put their trust in over decades. The infected blood scandal is the most extreme and harrowing example of such systematic failure. People place their trust in doctors and the government to protect them, and that trust is betrayed. I'm proud that this government and this Prime Minister will introduce a duty of candour law to prevent future cover-ups like the infected blood scandal and indeed post office scandals. I also share deep concerns about the other great challenges facing our community. Mental health figures are horrifying. The Global Mind Project reveals that the UK has the highest rate of mental distress in the world and ranks second worst in overall mental health. People are working harder, yet are getting unhealthier and unhappier. And of course, the climate and nature crisis looms. We need things to change. The country voted for change, and it's change that propelled me into politics. My journey began with the climate crisis. We know that if we get it wrong, we face disaster, particularly for the most vulnerable amongst us. But get it right, and we unlock enormous opportunities for our society. In 2003, I joined the local Leeds branch of Friends of the Earth and launched a campaign for the UK's first climate change bill. Everyone told me it was impossible, too ambitious, too radical. There was no way the Treasury would ever allow a carbon budget, but friends, they did. We turned that campaign into the fourth most supported in Parliament's history, with cross-party backing from members across the House. And the last Labour government turned that bill into an act in 2008 under my right honourable friend for Doncaster North, who I am honoured to be working with again. Under this Act, Britain decarbonised faster than any other rich country. This Act has now become a global benchmark adopted by other nations. That, my honourable friends, is what global leadership looks like. Why am I sharing this? Because politics must be about real change, or it's about nothing. I want to serve our community, improve our schools, healthcare and public services. When I think about change, I think about my grandmother, Marjorie Sims. She challenged the status quo. She lived in Horsforth in the 1950s, and there weren't that many women driving then, but Marjorie did. There weren't that many women wearing trousers, but Marjorie did. And when Marjorie developed breast cancer, most parents from the 1950s avoided talking to their children. Marjorie showed them her mastectomy so they could understand. She died at 43, the age I entered Parliament. Marjorie did things differently, and her spirit lives on in me. We've seen too much promise and too little delivery in recent years. Endless debates about challenges, but a lack of energy for real solutions. Politics should be about action, not just words. The seeds of change can be seen within our community. As a government, our role is to water them and create the conditions for them to flourish. Leeds North West is willing to play its role in full. We have the leaders, we have the ideas, and we have the get stuff done attitude that personifies Yorkshire. Like the students I met recently at Ralph Thoresby and Green Meadows, or the cadets in my constituency who are ambitious about the difference we can make. Like the Horsforth Shed set up a couple of years ago by ex-teachers based on the National Men's Shed model, supporting male mental health but expanded to include many other vulnerable members of the community. Like Otley 2030, who decided they wanted to be a beacon of hope and have created a living laboratory in the town to create climate-friendly and sustainable solutions where people and nature thrive. Like Brian, who after a death in Morrison's car park in Guiseley, set up defibrillators all over the community, so life-saving equipment is on hand and there is a network of community activists servicing them. And let's not forget the gold medal Olympians in our community, the Brownlee brothers and Tom Pidcock, who inspire us all with their dedication and achievements in cycling. We are indeed a hotbed of world-class talent. People in Leeds North West don't wait for change to come to them. They make it happen. They're the doers, the problem solvers. And I will play my role in that same way. I will champion the green agenda by focusing on practical solutions that carve a British path towards a successful green transition. We will leverage our strengths, whether it's world-leading research, supporting our best business minds, or unlocking the public and private investment needed to turbocharge a green economy. I will support the health of our community, mental health, physical health, community health, and I want to support our entrepreneurs and creativity to grow our region. I promise to be a ferocious champion for my community, my beloved Yorkshire and our country, and I will do it with joy. It may have become recently more fashionable across the pond, but I've been measuring with joy for years, and there's always a little more space for a little more joy. And finally, I promise to listen, learn and reflect. No one has all the answers, but all of us have some of them. I commit to working constructively and collectively. I will endeavour to arrive with curiosity and non-judgment, because if we want to change the way we do things, we must start in this moment, in this place, and with these actions. Thank you.
Having been a student